The average Barnes & Noble has over 100,000 books on its shelves, but today I am on a mission to find the best fall book deal at my Barnes & Noble. Personally, I love all things fall and Halloween, and so I've been making a list of all the books that I want to read this autumn. I've actually picked out 7 books that I want to show you today. I did a little sneak peek online to make sure all of them are in stock, so we're going to have to search around the store and find them. But if I did my research correctly, the last book is going to be our best deal, and it's the one that I don't think you're going to want to miss out on. Oh, and if you like what you see here, I will have links for all the books down in the description below. So the first book that we're searching for is an adult cozy fantasy comedy. It is one of my favorite books, and it's really funny because when I started on my book journey and started reading again, I actually looked at the cover and I was like, I don't think I'm going to like that. And it ended up being one of my favorite reads for that year. I have looked everywhere and I cannot find the first book in the series, which is Assistant to the Villain. But this is the series that I recommend to anyone who wants a good laugh. But you have Apprentice to the Villain, which is the second book, and Accomplice to the Villain. And this book follows Evie, and she is running through the woods and she is trying to get away. She does need a job, and she happens to run into the villain while she's running through the woods, and he gives her a job. This book has dragons, a lovely little frog named Kingsley that uses signs to communicate. There's castles and workplace humor, and it's just a really fun, cozy read. I got a chance to read this one yet because it just recently came out, but it is going to be one of my October reads as well when I need something that's a little bit more cozy, probably after some of the darker books we're going to talk about later in this video. So the next book that I want to find for you is a dark academia romantasy book. It is a 2025 release, so I think I'm going to be able to find it. Let's go looking. I keep on looking for something. And here we go, Arcana Academy. Look at those gold edges. So this is Arcana Academy. This one is been on my TBR for a little bit. I had been anticipating its release. This book follows Clara, who was put in prison for life because she had done illegal magic with tarot cards. She apparently was very powerful, even though she didn't have any formal training. So the headmaster of Arcana Academy knows that she did this, comes to the prison, and needs her help because he believes that she can help him get a tarot card that he needs from the king in order to save the kingdom. But Claire hasn't been formally trained, so he takes her to Arcana Academy. He also doesn't trust her to just like roam freely, so he brings her to the academy saying that she is going to be his bride. So there's magic, there's mystery, there's heist, fake dating / marriage, all wrapped up in an academia setting that is perfect for the back to school vibes. Definitely a dark academia to add to your TBR this fall. Now the next book that I had on my list to share with you is Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. This is a dark retelling of Snow White, which of course makes it perfect for Halloween. This is written for adults. It is on the darker side. Like I mentioned, it is a dark retelling, and it's actually listed as horror. That's how dark our twist is. So this book follows a healer that is known for taking poison in herself to try to find cures for things that nobody else has been able to find cures for because she's ingesting poison. And the king's daughter, Snow, comes to them because she is in a deep sleep. He doesn't know how to fix her illness. So while Snow is dying, our healer is trying to figure out how to save her, and she ends up finding a whole nother dark world inside a magic mirror. And our healer believes this is the key to saving Snow. This is definitely different from the Snow White that you're used to with Disney, but it sounds like a great spooky read. Now it's time to step away from the spooky vibes for something that's a little bit more traditionally autumn, and that is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This is a different cover on the hardback, so you have the foiling with the leaves and you actually have Genie on the front. They are not on the front of the original cover. Which, fun fact, the cover was actually made before the book was written and it was given to the author, and she based the entire book off of the cover she was given. I'm gonna be honest, the writing is nothing spectacular, but it reminds me of like a cheesy TV show. You're not going for like high quality writing to be mentally stimulated by some amazing mystery that's going to have a major plot twist and turn. It's none of that. I just describe this as a book that you can just exist in the world, and it's very cozy and fun. It was one of my favorite fall reads last year, just to get me in the mood for fall. This book follows Jeannie as she moves to Dream Harbor because her aunt gives her a cafe, and she slowly starts to fall for Grumpy Farmer as she becomes more acquainted with the town. Be warned, this cute and cozy cover is very much for an adult book. It's spicy and not just pumpkin spicy. There are currently 4 books out from the series. There's a 5th on the way and there's going to be a 6th, so this is not a completed series, but each of these are interconnected standalone, so you could definitely read this and move on or not. Okay, we're back to spooky with One Dark Window. I have heard from numerous people that this was one of their favorite reads, one of their favorite duologies. I am so excited to read these. I got these for Christmas last year and I haven't read them yet, but it's 100% on my list. Probably going to read it in October because it's more of a witchy read. Now, this book is considered young adult, even though I've heard there are some spicy scenes sprinkled throughout. This is a gothic romantasy of a woman who's trying to save her kingdom. And to do so, she's using a spirit that is trapped in her head, but the more that she uses the spirit, the more the spirit starts to take over. And the situation requires her to trust one of the most dangerous people in the kingdom. And that's just to make sure she has a chance of overcoming this dark magic that's taking over the kingdom. I've heard so many great things about this duology. I literally cannot wait to read it. I'm sure I'm describing it poorly. I will describe it better once I've read it because I just didn't want to hit any spoilers. But I feel like this is like a dark, stormy fall day read. Okay, I found book 6 on today's list, and that is Phantasma. I absolutely devoured this book. It was a last year spooky season read for me, and I gave it 5 stars. I could not put this book down. And this is a book that got a 5-star read for me because I neglected a lot of my adult responsibilities in order to finish reading this book. So Ophelia's entire life is falling apart after her mother passes away, and they realize that they don't have any money to keep their family's estate going. And so her sister, Genevieve, decides to enter herself into this deadly game, and Ophelia follows her into this game. It's called Phantasma. Look at that, so clever. But this game is filled with monsters and mazes and deals that can bind you for life, including one that Ophelia makes in order to try to get some help throughout the games from a man named Blackwell. And Blackwell just has one teensy request as part of their bargain, and that's 10 years of her life. She knows she shouldn't trust him, but she knows she doesn't have a choice, so she hopes that this bargain with Blackwell can help her win the grand prize, which is a granted wish. This is very much a dark, gothic, fantasy, paranormal, romance, all the things. It just checks a lot of boxes. It's really good. One of my best reads from last year. Do you like Phantasma? There is a second book that is called Enchantra. While I did still really like this book, I gave it 4 stars. It's not quite as good as Phantasma, but definitely still has the dark, gothic fantasy vibes. So if you like Phantasma, I think you will like Enchantra. So you have 2 options here. They are interconnected standalone, so this one does follow Genevieve after Phantasma occurs, so I do recommend reading Phantasma first. And with that, it's on to book number 7, Our Best Deal, and we're gonna have to head to the cafe for that one. Okay, I've got my latte, so let's talk about the deal. First, we gotta try out this latte. And I'm sorry, I just have my pop socket on. I don't have another good way to stand this phone up. I just got an iced pumpkin spice latte with oat milk, all in a cup. As you may have noticed, there weren't a lot of really good deals on the fall books, but I actually got the last copy of The Best Deal at my Barnes & Noble, and it requires a cafe purchase. So when you purchase anything from the cafe, it does not have to be a pumpkin spice latte. It doesn't have to be coffee at all. You can get pumpkin spice and everything nice, the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, for $5. So this is normally $12.99 according to the back of the book. And look how cute it is. I love the edges. I love the cover. It's so perfectly fall. And the foiling on here, the little foil pumpkin in the corner, you can't beat that. This is a young adult contemporary romance book that's set in New England in Briar Glen. It follows our main character, Lucy, who works in her mom's coffee shop. And while she doesn't really like pumpkin spice lattes, she doesn't like that there's a new coffee shop that opened up in town and it's taking a lot of her mom's business. It's a chain, and it just so happens that the new kid in town, Jack, it's his parents who own the new cafe. From the reviews I've read, this is very similar to like a YA version of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. So if you want something that's a little less spicy, that this might be a good option, but it is definitely geared towards more of like the younger young adults. But it's supposed to be very cute, very cozy. I love the edges. If nothing else, it's going to be great to decorate my bookshelf for fall. I love a New England cozy fall book. So it's definitely going to be one of my palette cleansers between my witchy spooky books this season. And with that, if you want to check any of these books out, the links are down in the description, and you might want to check out this video that's on your screen right now because YouTube thinks you're going to like it.